Welcome and thank you again for visiting my channel to learn all about SuiteDash. Today, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to debunk some of the myths behind SuiteDash, also to answer a lot of the frequently asked questions I've received over the last 3 years. If you don't already know who I am, my name is Marie, and I have been a SuiteDash consultant building out SuiteDash accounts for many different businesses. But I've been titled with a SuiteDash Sensei title that I'm very, very proud of. And I've been making videos to help people build out SuiteDash themselves. As a big announcement, I'm actually going to be launching my own workflow sensei type of SuiteDash build out model. That is coming really soon, but if you wanted to join the waitlist, feel free to do so in the description below. Let's get started. I am so excited to kind of like dissect all of this stuff. And I'm only speaking from personal experience. So I will give you as much knowledge as I know. And if I don't know answers, then I will make sure that I find them. So question number one says, what insider tips and hidden pitfalls do most SuiteDash guides skip over? I don't know who's been gatekeeping, but I don't. When I think about SuiteDash setups, I try to make them very straightforward. I also try to make sure that people really understand that SuiteDash is not a perfect system. There are challenges that some people may have had in the past, but they are an evolving system. They do scale well, and any pitfalls that I found, they fix them. So if I found a bug, they fix the bug. If I report something, they make sure they kind of like follow through with it. They're a very big system on community. And so with that, the community kind of runs the business in a sense where it creates that safe space of if you find something, you say something, they do something about it. Who exactly is SuiteDash for? Startups, agencies, tax firms, coaches, solopreneurs, or enterprise teams, or resellers. Everybody. SuiteDash is for everybody. And I can't stress that enough. SuiteDash is a blank art canvas. One of the beauties about SuiteDash is that you can literally start a brand new business, and from that business, you can create a process. I don't know if you guys remember me saying in another video that I am actually trying to get to a space of fully creating a formula to help any type of business to get started in their process. That is what it is. I am really and truly looking forward to just having a space where no one can feel left out, especially since it's really, really, really important that people realize that the system is meant for you to create your world, not to live within it. Like not to live within like the borders or the boundaries that other systems may have. All right. How does SuiteDash pricing work? Per account versus per user billing, and what features are included in Starter, Thrive, Pinnacle, and agency bundles. I will simplify this. The website does a great job of actually clarifying how the actual plans are structured. However, with the starter plan, it's really what it sounds like. It just gets you started. It does the bare minimum. And to be honest, it does not give a lot of value. With the Thrive plan, it gives a little bit more value, but there is a stipulation here where you can't really do all of the automations, but you can get started with doing the workflow planning and the workflow things you need to do. So it's kind of piecemealing things until you get to Pinnacle. Pinnacle is the big heavy hitter, okay? It's the swing out the part type of thing where you have all the automations, all the bells and whistles. So I recommend you actually getting the $99 plan, which is probably what it currently is now, or which is what it is now versus what it could be in the future, because the system is growing quickly and it is a month by month plan. Unless you've stolen some, or not even stolen, unless you've gotten some time to get a lifetime deal, which I've actually gotten a couple of times, where you get to pay one price, whatever that price is, and use it for a lifetime at that rate. With the lifetime deal, though, there is a stipulation of having 3 staff member per key. You can either have a suite key or AppSumo key, and that's the limitation. But as you buy more keys, you can unlock the unlimited version with 10 keys. And so I always recommend, if you can pay one time for something, great. SuiteDash does sell suite keys, and you're able to find that information as well on their website. And I also assist by selling suite keys. So if you have any questions on that, let me know. I got you. With the agency bundles, the real agency bundle is that you can be a reseller. And resellers actually have the ability to have special privileges, of which I won't really disclose because I don't know if it's legal for me to disclose that. But you have the ability to sell keys and do other things that you would need to within the system. You would be, as a reseller, though, the licensed owner. So you want to keep note of that as well. All right. So what free trial, contract terms, and cancellation policies should you know before you sign up? None. Okay, there's no contract. This is not one of those lock you in until I can't have you type of thing. Like, it's really very free. You have ability to do 2 weeks free trial, and even within that free trial, you can actually extend that trial at any time. I'm sure there's a limitation, but they do want you to test it out prior. When you test it out, you're testing it out on Pinnacle. So you get to see what the full system can do. There's communities in it. There's other power ups you can get. So there's a lot of benefits of just trying it on a trial and then committing to it later. There's no contracted terms. There is HIPAA compliance within the system. And I found out recently as well that there is something else that is similar to HIPAA compliance, but it's very unique to health and other data stuff. It's G something, I can't remember, but it does allow people to just feel very secure with bringing very secure information in, like health records, tax preparation, stuff like that. There's no cancellation policy. You just cancel by stopping your payments. I think the cancellation is the billing cycle. So if you were to cancel today, but your billing cycle ended on the 30th, then you'd basically have until the 30th until you don't have access anymore. But when you lose access, you lose access. They don't give you the preview access. You lose access to all documents, files, all the things. And so you'd have to re-up again. You'd have to reactivate in order for you to get access to the account. How quickly can you get up and running? What can you configure in one day versus what you can achieve in 2 to 3 hours as a VIP day? So I offer VIP days. VIP days really and truly is the best setup that I've done because we focus on your system and we get you set up in one day. And what that looks like for us, because we know it, right? We set up your entire framework, your entire inquiry, all the way down to how people will be working with you inside of the system. And so from a person who is looking at the system right now, you're just like, oh, I really want to get a system that I can just set up today and sit down and do it. I would say within one day, you'd probably get up to your proposal set up. That's realistic because you'll have to think about the forms, the circles, the process, all the things in that one day. 2 to 3 hours, I would say that you'd probably get done your platform branding, possibly forms, and that's probably it. Because if you have forms that are needed for onboarding or other things, it could take a little bit longer because the forms do take a little bit of time to build out. But that's probably about it. Probably like the baseline of the system, your colors, your branding, things like that, I would say. So with the VIP days that we do offer, it's more so built for you to get a full just layout of your day. And our VIP days are not like, oh, we work with you today and then you get set up. No, we have a full prep day that we would have to on the back end do, but we gather all the information from you. So it takes typically around 2 weeks for us to gather all the information. But then once we gathered everything, then we focus on your system for your launch day, right? How do you white label and brand your portal with custom domains, logos, colors, widgets, and code embeds? Okay, this is an interesting question. I would first recommend for you, and people hate to hear this, but go check out their videos, our videos, my videos, as well as just test it out yourself. The system itself is very much so a blank canvas. So whenever you're setting it out, I always tell people to sit down, think about your process, and then work backwards. So if you know that after someone is going to come into the portal, you want them to do an onboarding form, do the onboarding form. Well, do the elements that come with that process, even though people don't really understand. So I would say start with your process of building out your circles, then do the platform, the invoices, then do the proposal, then do the forms, then do the flow. You just got to work backwards in your model, and then you can be able to connect everything as you go back through it. So it's just easier that way. And when you're white labeling it, you will literally remove everything SuiteDash, so to say your business. Which core SuiteDash feature should you master? CRM, contact management, project, task workflows, invoicing, subscriptions, and performance limits. I would say everything is masterable, if that was a word. You are able to learn every toolkit within the system very quickly if you take the time to, one, watch the videos, and two, understand that everything works together. So once you understand the full concept and understanding of what the CRM is, then you'll understand what the tools, the other tools are in terms of how they connect to the CRM. The project and task workflows, you build those out one time, you're good, So I think you'll be able to see the functionality of everything and master them within the learning of the process. What native automations and third-party integrations can you leverage, from task triggers to Stripe, PayPal, Zapier, Facebook ads, and custom iframes? So I've worked with so many different businesses that I've had to integrate other systems, because as much as SuiteDash is a one-size-fits-all, it does have limitations for people who are coming from specific driven like apps or workflows. And so what I would say is Facebook ads. I'm going to start with the Facebook ads. So Facebook ads can definitely be integrated, because you can just use a kickoff form to integrate it. So the first form that they'll fill out is going to start the process that you're going to be utilizing. That's the easy one. Stripe and PayPal are already natively integrated within the system, because those are the gateways that you can use. So you can use a checkout form for those. I know that booking forms are going to come out with having the ability to do payment soon. So that would be great. And then custom iframes, honestly, yes, you can embed those. You can embed, and I've embedded Excel sheets that are live and document, like you can actually edit them in the portal. I've embedded custom Canva sheets, anything with an iframe or even an HTML code I've embedded. And Zapier integrations are also a place that you can integrate things. We've done webhooks. API is another thing you have that's pretty recently launched. It's been launched within the year. And so that in itself gives you a lot more capabilities. How can you integrate advanced use cases like agency or reseller dashboards, LMS course delivery, and API or custom development extensions? This is a loaded question. So I think when doing any of these implementations, you want to think about the goal. What is your goal? If your agency reseller dashboard is going to be able to see everything from the leads, the projects, or even seeing just custom circles that you have as a pipeline, I would say make sure that you utilize the widgets, utilize the toolkits, and make sure that you're understanding what your end goal is, what your vision is. For the LMS course delivery, we built out full launch courses in here. So there's been people who launch, there's like a real estate course that someone built out. Another courses, we're actually doing the Workflow Sensei course inside of SuiteDash as well. So you have the ability to use the system to create the elements around the workflow. So I would say, for example, if I wanted to, like with the Workflow Sensei, we're going to pull you in from a checkout form, getting you into the process, and then you're going to get access to the LMS. So you have that kind of workflow as well. And then the API or custom development extensions, it's just all dependent on what the goal is. What mobile app functionality and offline access options exist, and how do in-app notifications work? Whew, child. I was always very timid about this tool because of the app. I am a person that loves to preach. Please be sure that you can do what you're doing from your phone. I don't love my phone experience because I love to be around my 3 screens. I love to be able to just quickly type, go to a place, see it big, and all the things. But we're living in a worm that's a worm. We're living in a world that's very tech driven, and that means that they want to see their iPhone accessibility. They want to make sure that they can just pick up their phone, do things. And the web app is downloadable where you can just share it to your home screen. You can have it custom with your logo, and then you can also utilize that to log in. You do get some notifications as well. I haven't fully tested it out because I don't really use my phone that way, but it's going to be a video that I create so that everyone can see what the actual experience is. The biggest thing is that when you're building out your desktop version, you want to make sure that it's mobilely optimized. And so a lot of times people don't do that, and that's what causes the friction. What security, encryption, and compliance standards does SuiteDash meet to keep your data safe? So as I mentioned earlier, it is HIPAA compliant. There's another compliance that I don't know of the name, but there are a couple of compliance. There is something called convenience mode where your clients can actually conveniently respond from an email, because most notifications will go out through the email. And so they can conveniently respond through an email, or you can force them to, or I would say condition them to learn to come into the portal and respond accordingly. So it's very secure, very encrypted. Their entire file system is within their baseline hosted model. So nothing is being integrated outside. They're very much so building a system where it's self-sufficient. So you have the ability to kind of do everything in-house. Where can you find support and community resources, official help desk, live chat, and the Facebook group's top voted expert threads? This is subjective, okay? Because we've heard from so many people that they first look at Upwork and Fiverr. And I'm going to be honest with you. You're going to get that quality of work, okay? Not to say that everyone isn't great on Upwork and Fiverr. I've also been on Upwork and Fiverr, and I found that a lot of people want cheap, quick results. It doesn't work like that. Upwork and Fiverr is not the first recommendation. I would say to go directly to SuiteDash's agency website. So you can actually go to SuiteDash.com, and they do have a partners agency landing page. I'm on there, and I'm in the Sensei bucket. So what I would say, and I do not sales pitch myself. You look at my work, you look at my videos, you connect, and then we move from there. But I think for the most part, I would always say to try to research first without going into these spaces of, I need something done quick. I need something easy. The amount of things I've had to redo from other experience that they've had. And a lot of people have said, oh, my experience with XYZ person was this. And then I'm always like, oh, I'm so sorry, because I don't know how to feel, but I do apologize on behalf of the person that is trying to corrupt this beautiful system, because it's amazing. But hopefully that helps. So I would say even the help desk, definitely they will send you over to the agency. They've literally handpicked a few people that they would recommend as well, depending on who you get the response from. So I've been actually recommended from some of the help desk members. So like I said, it's very typical for you to have to just do your own research. All right, so the last question I have is, what's on the SuiteDash roadmap? Upcoming AI agents, new templates, deeper automations, and how can you join the beta programs? Woo! So if you guys haven't seen my other video, SuiteDash is actually releasing some information around their Suite AI. Suite AI. And I know that they are continually trying to push things that are very much so going to improve the system itself. They have been on a very quiet basis. And so inside of the SuiteDash community, they push items such as all of the updates, and they make sure that everyone's community request is fulfilled, but it may not be in the timely manner that you expected. And so I would say be patient. Definitely utilize the community space to vote for things. There's a voting space as well, and they listen. Okay. So I want to definitely encourage you to continue to use the system, find things, and give feedback. And once you do, I hope that SuiteDash becomes easy for you to build out. Okay. Thank you again so much for watching. This has been a joy. I'm sure there's a million more questions, but I've answered the 13 that I found. And I want to make sure that if there are more questions, that you can feel free to do some comments below. If not, reach out to me at SuiteDash@royalassistance.com, and I'll be sure to answer any further questions. All right, take care.